Hey everybody, this is Thunder Hands. I want to talk about this zombie crap today. And I've entitled the show, What's with all this zombie crap? What's with the zombies thing? And people might think, well, that's just entertainment. I got news for you. Okay, first let's go to when I was a kid. I wondered about zombies and all that kind of thing. Everybody does, because you hear about it. Let me tell you where it came from. It came from voodoo, okay? Or it came from a religious sect in Jamaica or one of those islands. Santeria. Deep and dark, okay? And it scared me as a kid, I won't lie about that. Because it was weird. It was morbid. Okay? And what it supposedly the legend or the story or whatever was about how voodoo priests took some kind of substance from a blowfish, okay, and synthesized it down or took it out or did whatever and made some kind of serum, okay, and injected that or put it in somebody's food that was just a normal person, and their heart rate slowed down so slow that it was undetectable, okay, and their breathing was non-existent. So basically it was almost like they were dead, but they weren't. Okay, that's where the term zombie came from. And the purpose of them doing that was to take somebody and make them think, you know, their relatives think and everybody think that they had died, and they would actually bury them and then go back later and dig them up and use them as like slaves to do their bidding. And who knows what effect that drug had on them from that time forward. But for all intents and purposes, that person was gone from the face of the earth, and their relatives have thought they were gone, and yet they were in slavery. They were enslaved to this voodoo priest or whatever. So that's where it came from. Now, as of the last 2-3 years, and maybe it was coincidental with the accident at Fukushima, or maybe it started creeping in before then, maybe this is all a plan, I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, it's prevalent everywhere. I mean, Xbox, movies, video games, you know, tabloids. I mean, everything is zombie, zombie, zombie. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Did they take a page out of the playbook of the voodoo priest or something? Well, let's look at this realistically, okay? Because Hollywood and the entertainment industry is a branch of this so-called, media or mainstream media. It's not just the news. It's everything, people. It's Hollywood, okay? It's commercials. It's TV. It's everything that surrounds you in the form of whatever is being, you're being exposed to on a media level. So I got curious the other day and I saw this movie. I think it was called World War Z or something, and I'm on Netflix, so I thought, I want to look into this further to see what they're projecting. Had second thoughts about even watching it. And let me tell you what the premise of that and other movies similar to that are. And it has nothing to do with, but everything to do with, the zombie that I described earlier. But, the premise of this movie was that, there was some kind of worldwide pandemic, and they don't know where it came from. They don't bother to mention that. That exhibited rabies type, symptoms. And these people that got it went stark raving mad and turned into almost like vampires or rabid dogs. And they were supposedly sick. It was a pandemic. Okay. But they didn't really make clear as to whether these people were living or dead, or they called them the Walking Dead, or no, they called them the Undead. What does undead mean? It means not dead. But they were still zombies, so they're crossing the they're creating their own definition of a zombie. And I'll just cut this real short. I don't care. This might be a spoiler. So if you don't want to hear this, then you want to watch that movie, then don't listen. But the end result is that this character played by Brad Pitt, who's some kind of UN bigwig virologist or doctor or something, figures out that the only way that you can stop these creatures, and these creatures will leap on you, like they're frothing at the mouth and weird looking eyes and teeth, and they will leap on you and bite you, and 12 seconds after you turn into one of them. 12 seconds, okay? It's like getting an injection. But he figures out that the only people that they leave alone are the ones that have serious illnesses, because for some reason they have a serious illness. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. So the only way that you can escape, or the only way that you can be inoculated, is to get shot up with some serious disease like AIDS or SARS or some deadly disease, okay? Because they won't want you then. Now that is just about the most morbid thing that I can friggin' think of. And this shit is all over the place. And I won't say excuse my French, because you're used to my unbridled free spirit language by now, or you should be. So, what is with this zombie stuff? I mean, it's everywhere. I'm telling you, they're permeating the airwaves. Excuse me, they're permeating the airways with this zombie stuff. Why? And let's look at the similarities. Okay, so we had the original voodoo doctor that shot people up or gave them this stuff and then caused them to be zombies and slaves. Well, gee, What do you think about that? Does that remind you of anything? Because aren't people slaves today? Aren't they kind of like zombie-like already? Are they rubbing it in everybody's face? Because people are shot up with delusion and illusion and false precepts of what reality really is. So, in a sense, everybody is a sleeper. They're a walking zombie. So, in a sense, we're already, and I won't say we because I'm not, but the majority of mankind is already like in this zombie like state, being controlled, being enslaved. But yet they want more. They want more than that because that's not enough anymore. And I'm not going to make this video real long because I'm going to do another one about the legacy we're leaving our children. And this is part of it. This is what your children watch, okay? And I mean, even on the Sunday morning or Saturday morning shows, suppose they still have those. I mean, they project all kinds. Everything is, if it's not zombies, it's, you know, bloodlust. Literally. Killing people, sorcery, battles of the Galactica, just weird, morbid. There's nothing on there that's a building. There's nothing that teaches your kid, you know, how to move energy around, how to meditate, how to make themselves healthy, how to free themselves from the bondage of the legacy that we've left them. But I'll get into that in another video, I guess, maybe. But back to the zombie thing. I mean, okay, so what if, you know, what if they don't feel that mankind is zombified? Zombification. Is that a word? I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along, but that ought to be a word. Zombification of America, zombification of people, zombification of mankind. And what if somehow there was a pandemic? Now, I've even heard of that rabies is being, isn't it coincidental that there's a resurgence of rabies and a resurgence of bubonic plague and a resurgence of this and a resurgence of that around the world? It's fear, people. They control through fear. Fear, fear, fear. Fear this, fear that. And if they get you so fearful about, let's say, a pandemic or a disease or a flu or whatever they come up with, then they're gonna, the next step is gonna be what? Can anybody guess? Inoculations. Oh, we have to inoculate you against, you know, whatever's coming down. And then we got this new Obamacare run by the IRS. Let's put two and two together. I mean, I could be totally off base because I think outside the envelope. I push the envelope. But I feel things, man. There's no reason we should have this much zombie crap on TV and all over and just permeating our kids' minds, our minds. What is this, entertainment? I laughed at that movie, actually. I was looking at it. It's like, man, I don't want to see this shit. And then I started laughing about it. Because it's so ridiculous. I mean, there wasn't even a real plot to it. I mean, the plot was thin. You know, it was just a projection of this horrific event. And you know, they, in this movie and in anything like this, they make it okay, even if they say the people are sick, they make it okay to kill them. Wipe them out. Take them out, dude. Take them out, man. Gun them down. Blow them up. And then we'll figure out, instead of trying to. But on the same hand, they're saying, well, the only answer to this is to inject yourself with some fatal or deadly disease. I mean, does that make sense to you? I don't want to be a zombie, so I'll inject myself with a fatal disease or I don't know. Do they know something we don't? Is this some kind of scheme? I don't know. But we could be doing a lot better than projecting this kind of crap on America, on the young minds, on everybody. And I know people are wondering about this because, just for fun, I typed in, because when you type things in Google, you'll start off typing something in and then it'll finish it for you. Like if a bunch of other people have typed that in, the sentence will be finished for you. You could just go, oh yeah, and click on it. And I started typing in, what's with all the zombie, how come there's so many zombie movies, or what's with the and it came right up, boom, like a bunch of people had already typed that in. So people are wondering about it. I mean, they're like, what's with all the zombie movies lately? And there wasn't one definitive answer, one answer as to just stupid, comebacks, and what people are thinking are just one word for this, M, big M, morbid. Morbid. Okay? And it's like maybe what they know and we don't know. Of course I know. And I'm telling you. Maybe what they know is that there is going to be a pandemic, or they will create a pandemic, or there already is things happening. Like I get an energy newsletter about all the stuff that's going on with all the nuclear plants around the world. Because I watched that closely, because the Hopi people spoke of the gourd of ashes, and the gourd of ashes is nuclear radiation. There's no doubt about it. I know it. I'm tuned into the Hopi thought totally. So it's radiation, and they say radiation will destroy the world. And then I came up by studying their history and prophecies and emergences from different worlds, that the only element that's left, and this is in my, one of the things that's in my new Hopi video, which you can get by subscription and donation, is that it'll come on the wind. Okay, and so radiation right now is being blown to America and across the world from this Fukushima. You know what that means? Blessed island. Blessed island, or blessed island in Japanese. It's not too blessed, is it? Because they had a 3-core meltdown. And there's still questions about why that happened, how that could ever happen, even in a tidal wave like they had. But believe me, there's all kinds of ramifications coming from that, because what I read in this newsletter was hair-raising. I mean, they're talking about there's whales going into, and this is mainly on the West Coast, there's whales going into ports and laying their heads on ships like, please help us. And the fishermen and the people there, the old salts, are going, I've never seen anything like this. Okay? And then there's bays where anchovies are just piling in there. It's so thick it's like soup. and the stars, the sea stars, the what do you call them? The starfish are dying. They're turning into goo. Okay. I mean, I could go on and on and on. China recently said they will buy no more seafood from the west coast of America, from Oregon clear on down to Mexico. They are not going to buy any of our seafood. Ooh, why? Why aren't we being told about this? This is fact, okay? Like I say, I could go on all day. People are taking readings in St. Louis with Geiger counters. Now, I'm not here to, but maybe this ties in with what they know and what we don't know, or what they won't tell us, or what they're planning on doing. Zombification. And I hate to say it, but like in the Gulf when they sprayed that Corexit, that chemical down there to supposedly clean up the oil. It didn't clean up the oil. It just made people sick. It made people very, very sick. In fact, they got so sick, or they are getting so sick, that they're exhibiting symptoms of like bleeding from the eyes and ears and other places in the body, which looks like zombies. Okay, so let me just put two and two together. Two and two does not equal five like they're teaching in the schools now. If your children want to think two and two equals five, it's okay. No, that's just another way to say no. There's an old saying, you have to, things add up to a conclusion, and they don't want you adding things up to a conclusion. Who they is, I don't know. But whoever is running this show, it's basically, if any of this stuff is true, and you can research it yourself, don't take my word for it, Google all this stuff. Look up Fukushima, look up radiation counts, look up zombies, look up all the stuff that I'm talking about. I just happen to take the time to do it that most people don't. Because most people are zombies. Like in my book Emergence, I write about the sleepers that are walking around in zombie-like mode. You might as well be dead if you can't think. You're already dead. You're already a zombie. So this has all kinds of connotations, this video. But I want you to think about these things, okay? Not just brush them off. Because most people are, I mean, like I said before, and I speak straight. People are stupid. They're brain dead. They're plugged into their iPod or iPhone, or they're so far away from nature it's pathetic. And the Hopi say that the only way that you're going to escape destruction, or the destruction of this fourth world and emerge into the fifth world, is if your heart center's open, your third eye, which is right here, your heart center, your chakras, they call them, the energy centers on the body. The crown chakra is the one that the Hopi say you speak to the Creator through. So unless those are open, unless your energy field is intact, that's your only protection against what we call the world, quote unquote, the world. Because the world is an illusion, and you can go beyond the world, you can go beyond duality, you can be protected from all this stuff. Even the physical effects. I know it sounds far out, but if people concentrated on, if there was a bunch of movies about Buddha and about the spiritual ones and about the ancient ones and the ancient of ancients and the ancestral tribal people and the traditions and the meditations and the movement of energy called, raising the kundalini, and all of these things that are energy, internal energy, okay, internal energy, and going within and not concentrating on without. If everything, instead of having all, these zombie movies and all this horrific crap, which is what we feed our mind, and we are creators, so we're creating that. We'll create it because they want us to create it. They want us to create a reality of, and who are they? I keep saying they. Well, I don't know, but somebody's in charge of producing this crap. Somebody's calling the shots. Somebody's saying, this is the agenda. We're going to make a bunch of zombie movies. And if it's just coincidence that we're making zombie movies and that they're... Oh, and another thing I didn't mention, and this will really blow your mind. Last year, I think it was, in San Diego, they had somewhere in Southern California, they had a deal where in order for the police or the health people and the police combined or whatever to practice, taking care of people that have been in some kind of mass disaster, they said, come dressed up as zombies. And we, come to such and such a place at such and such a time, and we'll be there, and we're going to administer, and there'll be goodies for you, we'll provide this and that, and it'll be like a party, man. And it'll give us a chance to give you your flu shots, and hello. And people showed up, all kinds of people. Oh, this is fun. Oh, this is so much fun. We get to dress. It's just like Halloween. We get to dress up and make ourselves look gruesome and ugly and bloody, and yeah, this is fun. Man, what kind of world do we live in? Are people really that gone? Are they really that messed up? Are they really that dumb? Because that just shows me that they are these slaves that I talked about earlier, that the voodoo priests made these people into slaves. So this is a playbook. This is a page out of that playbook. That tells you how morbid these people are. So if you don't like where this world is going, or if you don't like you're being exposed to, what do you do about it? Well, you become unzombified. That's what you do about it. You wake the hell up. You change you cause a paradigm shift. You cause a dimensional shift. You have the power to do that. You're not just a physical person walking around. You're not an ape. You're not an unthinking, unintelligent, unspiritual being. You are a spirit being if you want to be. You can rise above the crap. You can rise to the top and be the cream of the crop. Hey, that rhymes. No, but seriously, you can. And see, if they taught you this, but they're not going to teach you anything that frees your mind or frees your concept of the world. So I'm going to make this video short, but my link to my site is nativeamericantaoist.com, and it's connected to Spirit of Crazy Horse, that has my book Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart by Divine Arts Publications. that discusses a lot of like freeing up your mind and how to deal with the world, and from the Native American and Taoist tradition. And then I have another book, Emergence, which is, to me, it's a novel, but it's like a Bible of, it's a sacred book because I'm still learning things from it, and I've read it 20 times, proofreading it and other things. And I'm learning, so it was channeled, just like when I channeled the energy for when I play music, it has to come through you. You have to get out of your own way. And so it's the same thing with a book. So yeah, I have Emergence and Listen to the Wind Speak from the Heart. And believe me, these books are going to be, I've won an award for one of them already, but that doesn't mean much to people, really. So anyway, go there to my site and you'll see it. You'll see there's a donation button if you feel the need. And in order to get the Hopi video, you have to make a donation. It's a subscription type $15 for an hour video on everything you'd ever want to know about them. So anyway, I'm cutting out right now, and I'm going to get the hell out of Dodge. So this is Thunder over and out, and think about the things I say, because it already may be too late. I mean, this might just be an exercise in futility, but I don't know. I have that thought. I have the thought that, whoever is inspiring me is telling me that there's always hope. So, but when it gets so far as radiation being spread around the world and people not telling you about it, I don't know how much their hope there is, except on a spiritual level. Okay, think about that. Anyway, I'm out of here. Adios, amigos and amigas. Later on.